These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
We are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, July 26th, and my streak of just barely getting to see the date on my phone before we start the podcast keeps going. I've told you about this, right? Sometimes when I'm charging it'll like...
Yeah, you can't see the date and you have a little panic attack.
I do.
That would be a really good way for you to have a heart attack. Like, it just is induced by you, like, getting a little panic spike from not knowing what the date is. Isn't the date on your computer? Like, I have the date on both my monitors. I don't need...
Yeah, we've had this exact conversation. The issue is not the date, it's the day, because I often forget what day it is, which is terrible.
Ooh.
But it happens.
It's a luxury.
Yeah.
How do you forget what day it is? We have a strict recording schedule with these podcasts. We record every Wednesday.
Well, we record every Wednesday. We record every Saturday or Friday. We record every Monday. It's not like we record once a week and we just record hours and hours of content every Wednesday.
Well, you have like a 50% chance there of being right.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to get it wrong. I gotta know. But it is Wednesday, July 26th, as we're recording this, and we do have Celtics news. Jaylen Brown has officially signed the largest contract in NBA history. We talked about the obvious. We obviously talked about the extension when it dropped. When the news dropped,
breaking because we're committed.
Of course,
I'm very committed.
I mean, we got to do it. But Jaylen Brown officially signed the contract, pen to paper today. Did his press conference. He did it at his Juice event at MIT. I want to get the exact thing correct, just so I don't trip over my words here.
Bridge event. I think that's
yes. I'm trying to find exactly where it is. I think it was Mark Spears who reported on it, but I'm not sure. But basically, he wanted to forego a traditional press conference for his announcement, instead doing it with his Juice Foundation in the program. Arrives with the Bridge program students, MIT Bridge program. That said, there was something that came out today that said he was helping a class when he got news that the extension went through. So like he obviously
said,
yes,
so
he wanted to get it done
robots.
here. Another thing from Mark Spears, there is a interesting tidbit or whatever you want to call it in Jaylen's contract that every July 1st of every year, he will make $7,777,777 to honor his number 7 and his foundation Juice, which obviously is spelled
sounds like
7.
You're ordering 55 burgers, 55 fries.
Is that what you were laughing at when I was saying it out loud?
But, and like the sheer concentration that you were going with.
I know. I had to read
$777,777. Okay, yeah, there you go.
I had to get it out. I had to find it, but
they had a nice pace to it. It was pretty impressive.
Thank
Good delivery.
You. I appreciate that. But he had John Carlos at his press conference too. Obviously, legendary track and field athlete. It was a very cool event that I wasn't able to be at, but the media was there. They asked him questions. It was basically a press conference for his new extension, and there are some quotes from it. He talked about what it meant to receive the contract, saying, "I appreciate the investment and commitment from the Celtics and the rest of the community. That commitment will be felt and returned for me in Boston on and off the court. Hopefully soon around the world. You guys being here for today, for me especially, you guys represent the next generation." Talking to the Bridge campers, everything I do is to try to make the world a better place. So thank you for being in attendance. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this moment with me. We got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. It was a good moment. I mean, it's very clear he wants to give back to the city too. Also mentioned he wants to launch.
A good thing.
Exactly. Also mentioned he wants to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street to Boston, attack the wealth disparity. Like, you can tell this paired with the stuff he did in Dorchester at the opening of the court. Like, you can tell that he's very invested in making Boston a better place, that he wants to help the community, which is something all Bostonians and Celtics fans should want from their athletes. And like,
you know what the best part about that is in the past, there has been doubt cast on Jaylen's will or desire to be with the Celtics because of the issues that he sees in the city.
Yeah.
And instead of being a person that runs from it or tries to just, say, okay, I don't like this place, I'm leaving, he's trying to improve it.
Which is great.
That takes a special kind of person, to be honest.
100%.
It's a very strong-willed thing he's doing.
It's phenomenal. And I mean, I think Cam Tabatabai retweeted this earlier today too. Like last year, Tatum and Brown held a ceremony or something to
I
honor
believe they
Terrence
opened a
Clark when he
gym.
passed away. Yeah,
Or
they
dedicated a
opened
gym.
something along those lines with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown with his Juice Foundation. Like Marcus Smart's done it with the past, obviously with his Young Game Changers Foundation. Like the Celtics have been very fortunate to have a string of athletes who are willing and capable and they want to make the city a better place, which is like obviously like you could go to any team and find people like that are trying to do better. They have charities. I know Drew Holiday has one in Milwaukee, which Marcus Smart
The
donated to and
hospital,
stuff like that.
yes.
So like you can find this in places, but Boston specifically having these guys who are so willing to invest in the community and attempt to make it better, like you said, like I think that's a big reason why people should be very excited to have Jaylen Brown back in Boston for 5 years. And I tweeted that out, and I truly think this, excuse me, the city is lucky to have somebody like him who is willing to invest in it.
Well, he's not as good as Rudy Gobert, so you're wrong.
Yeah, right. That was
Cardiac
that's
arrest.
still nuts. That's still nuts. That's still nuts. Jaylen Brown also talked about the Marcus Smart trade. Basically was asked about him leaving, said, I learned so much from Marcus. We butted heads at times. We fought. We did it all. Put each other in headlocks. This journey won't feel the same without him, but it's a part of life and what you do moving forward with Marcus gone. He also talked about the defense, saying with Marcus gone, we don't want to put our defensive identity to go out the door as well, talking about how he wants to improve or keep up or improve the defense, something that the Celtics pushed for when the season ended.
Emotional moment for those of us watching it from our computer, maybe at our desk at work, maybe at home, maybe on our phone, wherever you might have watched it today. It could have been very emotional because it sucks that Marcus Smart's not on the team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They better win. They better
right?
win the title. They better win.
Mm-hmm. I like that he acknowledged we fought, we did it all. Because like you think about it, all you remember is, oh yeah, weren't they screaming at each other in the bubble? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, but they did the really cool dance too.
Mm-hmm.
A couple times they did some cool dances.
This
almost
is true.
like
Jaylen
TikTok.
Brown held up Marcus's left hand in the first round against the Nets
they
last
did.
year.
I was there.
Plenty of moments. You'll love to see it.
Might be the best game I've ever been to.
That defense thing I think is important too, because obviously we've talked about the defensive, the impact on the defense that losing Marcus is going to have. Hearing Jaylen talk about that, and with the way him and Brogdon in particular spoke at the end of the last season about how like we didn't emphasize defense as much. You heard Grant talk about it too since he's left the Celtics, and I feel like they do need to find that sort of let's get back on track on the defensive end. And most people say, okay, well, you just traded two of your better defenders this summer. What are we doing? So hearing Jaylen like invest in that, like, okay, let's hope he and the rest of the team pick it up.
Jaylen also had some nice words about Porzingis saying, and that was the first thing he pointed at when he was asked about the addition of Porzingis, because first he went into detail about Marcus, and then the reporters circled back and asked him about, what does Porzingis bring to this team? How does that help you and Jayson? And he says, well, bringing in his defense is going to make things a lot better for us on that end of the floor. I don't have the exact quote, but he was very excited about Porzingis' ability to defend. It's something we've brought up on the pod many times. His ability to be the drop man in the pick and roll coverage is going to help them very much. It's going to be great to see guys not getting picked out, targeted on defense, and hopefully just a more stable, reliable defense throughout, because last year was up and down. They finished, second in the league in defense, but in the playoffs, they couldn't defend anybody.
Yeah, it was rough in the playoffs. It was definitely rough in the playoffs. But, yeah, I mean, it sounds like Jaylen is kind of saying what every Celtics fan, or at least most Celtics fans are thinking, like, it sucks Marcus is gone, but obviously Porzingis is going to be great. Basically what Brad said when the trade went through. But you still question, like, who's going to replace that in the locker room, right? Like, and people will have to step up. I said this when the trade went through, right? Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, of all people, are going to have to step up in the locker room as leaders, because as much as we've seen them grow as leaders throughout time, obviously they've gone from second and third best players to the 1A and 2 very clearly on these Celtics teams. But now you need to see them take that next step into the more vocal roles, because as much as they probably were that the past few seasons, you had Smart there. Obviously you had Al there, and you still will have him there. But I feel like next year's the year where you need to see them. Okay, you are the on-court and off-court full leaders of this team, no matter what. Let's see what you can do.
It's going to be the best when it's actually Rob.
Stop.
Who doesn't look like he says two words? No, I agree. It's time for those two to come into their own as adults. Jaylen Brown's 26. Tatum's 25. they're old enough to lead. They've had enough NBA experience to lead. They've had more success in the NBA than probably 85% of players ever. They've been to 5 conference finals, 1 finals. I mean, they've got it. They've been there. They have the respect of these guys. They're both multi-time All-Stars. They both made All-NBA. They should be able to hold some weight in terms of what they have to say actually meaning something to guys on this team. And there are younger guys on the team still. They just signed Delano Banton. O'Shea Brissett's younger than them. I guess Pritchard's technically younger than them, even though he's kind of the same age, Jordan Walsh. They've got some guys that they can help out. And then they still have Horford. Porzingis, interested to see how he fits in that wrinkle too.
Agree. No, I agree. Sorry, I thought you had a more. Your thought ended, and I thought you had something else to say. Yep. But no, yeah, I mean,
with symbols in my head.
Nice to hear Jaylen talk about Smart. Nice to hear him talk about the city of Boston. Excited to have him for 5 more years, and the people saying it was a bad contract. Good for you. Entitled.
I mean, it very well could be. It just the situation is they should have paid him. They have this guy. He's an all-NBA level player. He's a multi-time All-Star. He's a key piece of their success. Again, since Jaylen Brown has come into the league, the Celtics have made 5 conference finals. He's been in the league 7 seasons. They've only failed to make it out of the first round of the playoffs once. He has been a large part of the team's success in the last 3 years specifically, making 2 All-Star teams. They made the finals and made the Eastern Conference Finals. He's been a part of that. Like, he's the second best guy on these teams. He doesn't suck. He had a terrible showing in the Eastern Conference Finals. They probably would have made another finals had he been better. With all of that to the side, he's still been a driving force behind Boston being one of the better teams in the league. There's no denying that. There's no denying that the formula works. There are probably, I don't know, let's say 25 teams in the NBA that would kill to have the sort of success the Celtics had in the last X amount of years, even without winning a title, which here, like, the two of us are like, this sucks, win. And I still believe in it. I'm not saying what they've done is good enough. But in young careers, again, 26, 25 years old, the 2 stars, not a bad start to their partnership, which the Celtics have potential to keep intact for at least another 5 years. There's going to be wrinkles that come into it with this new CBA vice grip that they're going to have to deal with. But for now, they have everybody they need under contract and secure. So they should be all right for at least 2 or 3 seasons.
You said 5 Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Brown made 5, Tatum's made 4.
Brown's made 5. Jaylen Brown has been to more Eastern Conference Finals than the last 43 years of Philadelphia 76ers basketball.
Embiid has never made the conference finals.
Did you hear what I said? They've been to the same amount of conference finals since 1980. Since 1980.
And this is not a trash Embiid thing. I like Embiid.
Not an Embiid thing.
But that just puts into perspective how rare this sort of success is. Is even more crazy that they have won a title. Like, make no mistake, this is not a yay circle jerk. They're so great. No, they still need to win. But they are very close to it. They've had a great amount of success, and he's been a major part of it. So there's no reason why the Celtics, from their point of view, should not have paid out this contract, because what else are they going to do with this money?
I saw a lot of people say, well, he's worthy of a max, but not a super max. Like, he's not going to take another pay cut. Like, guys, he's not taking a pay cut. And people saying, well, Rudy Gobert took a pay cut. Yeah, because it was very
Rudy
clear.
Gobert kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's very clear with the player you have in Jaylen Brown, the player you have in Rudy Gobert. I don't know. It is what it is. I also thought it was funny. Did you see?
Think of it like this before we move on. The two of us have had debates that Jaylen Brown may not want to play on the Celtics anymore because he wants to lead a team. I don't think anybody anywhere has been like, yeah, Rudy Gobert could lead a team. Maybe like the most diehard Jazz fans at one point might have said like he could be like a defensive anchor and be dominant.
I've defended
on
Rudy
offense,
Gobert.
He's a lob threat. He's essentially Rob Williams. That's kind of awkward.
I've defended Rudy Gobert plenty of times on this podcast. Not better than Jaylen Brown. Not close. It's just, what are we doing? Brad Stevens, the whole press conference, just smiling, looking very jealous. He's so hyped. Yeah. He's so hyped. You love it. You love to see it. I'm very happy to have Jaylen Brown back in Boston. And I've been like I always say, I've been the most critical of him.
Yeah.
But
Again,
all the
this
crap.
is your Oppenheimer.
No, all the crap we've seen about Jaylen Brown over the past few days has made me realize, like, I mean, like I thought I was critical of him. This is nuts. But moving on, we have some stuff about the other Celtic star in Boston. Jayson Tatum recently went viral on Twitter because he was talking. Do you know where he was? Was he talking? I think he was talking to his Jayson
He
Tatum
was
elite
at
camp, right?
a Nike youth basketball camp. That is the
I think it was his camp.
farthest I know about it. I don't know whose camp it might have been.
I think it was his. I think it was JT camp because he brought out Chris Paul, Paolo Banchero, Bradley Beal, and one other person that I can't remember right now to play at the camp, and he referenced them in the speech, basically saying like, oh, okay, I'll read it here. I have it. Me, I don't decide shit. We're playing the Hornets tonight. I'm a chill. I only get to play in Charlotte 2 times a year. Somebody paid big money to come watch me play. Like, I'm not trying to be arrogant. And like, there's a bunch of kids there with my shoes and my jersey on, and it's just because we're playing Charlotte on NBA League Pass on a Monday and ain't nobody fucking watching. I'm not like, all right, I'm chilling tonight. Tatum, and this was a thing all last season too. Like, Jayson Tatum was probably supposed to sit a lot more games than he ended up sitting. How many games did Jayson Tatum play last year? Like
He
70?
missed only 8 games.
Yeah, Jayson Tatum played 74 games last year, and Brad Stevens multiple times, Joe Mazzulla multiple times said like, yeah, we wanted him to sit, and he just said like, no, when the time came. And
Paul George has talked about this type of thing.
yeah,
He went on the Reddick pod and he was talking about load management because him and Kawhi Leonard get a lot of crap for it. And he explained that some of it is like the teams pushing for it. Like you said, Celtics wanted Tatum to sit and he's just kind of overruled them. But also, Paul George has kind of alluded to the fact that not being after it every day, not always being out there.
yes.
While the thought would be, oh, these guys are fresher, they're more well rested. There's also an argument that they're more susceptible to injuries because they're just not conditioned to it anymore. So Tatum, knock on wood, has had a very healthy career so far. I think he's only missed a total of, I want to say 49 games over 6 seasons. I think I did the math yesterday.
His fewest games played season is 64.
And that was the short season.
Yes, that was 2 years.
So he still only missed 84 games in that season. He played 66 in one of the other ones. But Tatum has been very fortunate with injuries. He's been conditioned. He's in good shape. And by the way, this Charlotte game he alludes to was 51 points.
Oh, really?
Very calculated move. That was the one he just lit them up and like they were blowing them out and he just kept firing up shots.
I have a stat for
he
you.
was going to get 50.
Since Tatum entered the league, only 3 players have played more regular season minutes than him.
Ooh.
Here's a quiz.
Trae Young?
No, this is very... It's one is an all-star and 2 are role players.
Okay.
The one all-star, I have to give you some clues. The one all-star is 2 all-star games in a row, plays in the Eastern Conference in the Central Division.
Is it Donovan Mitchell?
No.
Is it Holiday?
No, Chicago.
Levine. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
DeRozan.
DeRozan.
DeRozan. Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, and you're not gonna get there. Tobias Harris and Harrison Barnes, the other 2 have played more minutes.
Harrison Barnes would have actually been a guess.
But however, and they were at for reference, DeRozan is at 14,991. Tatum's at 14,684, and he's in 4th. DeRozan first. So like the gap's not huge, including the playoffs. It is Jayson Tatum, and it's not close. Not even like close to being close. Jayson Tatum's first at 18,319. Jokic is 16,900. He's played over 1,400 minutes more regular season and playoffs since he's entered the league than any other player in the NBA. I'm
not a medical professional. I don't know anything about this, but I think it's one of those things where if you don't use it, you lose it. And Tatum is kind of just conditioned to being an Iron Man and just being out there and working hard. And let's not forget, years and years ago, guys just played. Like there was no load management and they were fine. Like Paul Pierce got stabbed a bunch of times and played every single game.
Also, this isn't like, oh, at least he has the offseason. He's played in the World Cup. He had the bubble, so he didn't get a break. He's done like all these things in between. Like Tatum's had like this is his first actual offseason in like 3 years, right? And I would like him to get some rest. I know, but he's probably pissed. But it's very refreshing to see a star who thinks this way. And I do question if we're going to see a next like if this next generation of players is sort of like this next era, because like you look at some of the stars, and maybe this is just because they're young, and that's like what we're thinking now. Because I bet people thought about this with like Kawhi and LeBron and whatever, but like Paolo Banchero doesn't seem like the type, and he's very young, obviously. But like looking at him, look at like Tyrese
Small
Halliburton.
sample size.
Tyrese Halliburton doesn't feel like he feels like a player who would have that.
He
mindset.
got injured, but it doesn't seem like he's just sitting games.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like just the mindset of some of these younger players you see entering the league.
Yeah, Luka, Zion.
Okay, stop. There's obviously exceptions.
No, the best is when the Mavs just lost games on purpose at the end of the season.
That was crazy.
On Slovenia night, they trotted Luka out there for like 5 minutes with all these people that came from Europe to watch him play.
But I see. I don't think the issue was the players, because I'm pretty sure
Luka and
Kyrie came out and complained about it. They were like, they wanted to play.
Kyrie kind of hates playing basketball, but that's not
all right. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think a lot of this load management stuff is the players. I think very little.
No, I agree with you, and I think people are kind of overdoing it. Stan Van Gundy tweeted about it, and then that was the one where Katie was like Stan spitting, and he was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Yes,
Katie.
yes.
So people are understanding of it. This whole thing is getting out of control. Steve Kerr cries that they need to shorten the season. It's like, no, they don't. They've played 82 forever.
Yeah.
I think the season is actually like the perfect length. People might disagree, and they're like, "There's too many games," and it's like
baseball's too long. 162 is crazy. That's nuts. What are we doing?
Red Sox been good.
I don't even want to watch 50 games of baseball, and you're giving me 162. What are we doing? Like this is nuts. Play every team twice and call it a day. Play 2 series against each team, and then that'll be what 3. I don't even know how the math works. It's stupid. Play 1 series. Baseball sucks. We can cut it on Jayson Tatum, though. Nice to see that he's wanting to play. I doubt we'll ever see him
fifth best MVP odds.
Love that. Who's ahead of
he would have an MVP by now if he could play for an entire season without sucking for like a month.
Do you know who the people in front of him are? I want to guess.
I don't know off the top of my head. I just saw it on Twitter while I was making the sheet today. I'd imagine Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and
Luka.
Probably
Luka. I gotta look now. I want to see now. You got me curious. I bet I can find it. Tatum.
It was for me. It's
not. I'm just getting stuff from last season. I bet you're right though. I bet it is Luka. I bet it's Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. Right? That's got to be it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
I love how Embiid just kind of like they got sick of him crying that he wasn't MVP, and they gave him the MVP.
Is that what you equate it to?
That's what a lot of people were saying. Is like it was like a sympathy MVP. Like they were like, yeah, you probably could have got it one of these last 2 seasons, but
yeah, it was like, well, he could have had it one of these 2, so let's just give it to him now. I have no complaints though. Embiid
I'm out on the awards, man. I don't care for any of it.
I know
anymore.
You don't like it. I can't find the MVP thing. Whatever. I don't care.
Speaking of awards, the best was people were like so anxious about Jaylen getting All NBA, and then he gets it, and then they're like, "Oh, we don't want to pay him."
Yeah, right. Everyone was like, "He's got to get it. He deserves it."
He has
to
get All NBA. He has to, so they can extend him, and then they extend him, and they're like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen." Wait.
All right, no more Tatum. Props to him. I doubt we'll ever see him play 82 just because the Celtics won't let him. But the fact that he's playing 70 plus is a win for the Celtics.
I think he had 80 1 year, rookie year.
He was rookie year. You're right. Yep. All right, next piece of news: Mike Gorman.
Sad news.
Mike Gorman.
This is my Oppenheimer.
Yeah, this is terrible. Mike Gorman is deciding to retire at the end of the upcoming season. Basically, Jared Weiss had this. I think you wrote an article saying that like. Hopefully sticking around for one championship. They got to win it for Gorman. I mean, they had to win it for Bill last year. They had to win it for Tommy. And then
listen, they aren't really good at winning when they need to win it for people. Guys. Havlicek was in there, and they lost to Milwaukee, and they got stomped in the second round on the Havlicek year. Then Tommy passes away. They get stomped by the Nets. I mean, listen, knock on wood.
They even lost on KG
in that situation, but
they even lost on KG Day.
They lost. No, they lost when Pierce got his jersey retired. They lost when KG got his jersey retired. They've been terrible every year. The Celtics have a Tommy night. I think this last year they finally won on Tommy night. It was like the third or fourth one. They are terrible when it's like up to you. Like, okay, honor the guy by winning. The Celtics are like, awful. Oh no, we're not very good.
Yeah, ratless Mike Gorman for.
Whoa! Wait!
No, I mean, no. When we started this podcast, like I think we said like that would be the dream guest. I would.
That's always been my dream guest. Is Mike Gorman. He's the best. He's the best. He's got a great personality. He's seen it all. He's actually like done work here in Rhode Island. I think
Mm.
on Wikipedia it says he called URI games. But he worked at Channel 12 here. He rules, but he had a sit down with Jared Weiss from The Athletic, and he said, if I had to pin myself down, I'd say, yeah, next year will probably be my last year. If we were looking at the roster from the 90s right now, I'd be saying I'm done. But this team has a chance to win a championship, and I'd just like to be around for that. So, again, they kind of owe it to him. That means they're not going to do it, so don't even bother watching next season. But it's going to be interesting. Like, throughout that article with Weiss, he kind of sprinkles in. He's like, I'm only really doing the games I want. He doesn't sound like he's going to travel this year, so you're going to get 41 games of Grandy at least. And
or Scal and Perk.
Yeah. Well, this is bad. Scal. There's going to be nobody to keep Scal in check now, and he's going to be like 2 for 1. Do it every time.
I have agreed with you on Scal. I feel like he's getting better, and Scal's a great guy. I love Scal. He's a nice person.
You actually met Scal? That's a legitimate question.
No, I have. He's a nice guy. I haven't had like in-depth conversations with him, but I've like talked to him briefly about random stuff. When I told him James Harden should have made the All-Star game last year, he got mad at me. That was like one of the only interactions I've had with Scal. I forget even what the context was. We were talking about like how player X, it was like when the All-Star voting came out, and we're like, this player shouldn't have made it for this.
No, Scal's a good personality. He just
like
on the broadcast makes me want to put my head in the microwave sometimes.
I think you put him in the right scenario, he's better. I think he's good with Grandy. I truly think
he just needs the right pieces around him.
No, I think he's improved a lot since he started. At the very
least, that's kind of what happens. You have to give him credit. He does a ton of work in the media. He's got a radio show on Sirius XM. Like, he puts in the work. But he just has those stupid cliche things that he says that are terrible.
Who did we talk to about this?
The
Max. We talked to Max.
Yeah, because Max worked with Scal, and he was like, "Yeah, dude."
The injuries thing. Like, Max was laughing.
Throws him under the bus with the parlays.
Yeah, no one loves an injury like Scal loves an injury.
No, he gets rock hard when someone like rolls their ankle, dude. He's like, yeah, that guy. He's never gonna be able to walk again.
Yeah, no, but seriously, like. I feel like a lot of our criticism or whatever, disappointment or like dislike of the broadcast, just because like the Celtics had the best broadcast in the NBA for so long. Like just Tommy and Mike is you can't following Tommy and Mike is a death sentence, right? Like Scal was never gonna hit because he had to follow.
It's a tough follow.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem Scal has, honestly, is he tries to be Tommy sometimes and it just doesn't work.
He's gotta be him. And you get the thing is you genuinely get flashes of like Scal being Scal and it's good, but then I think you're right. I think you do see him trying to like fill in the shoes of an unfillable shoe print or footprint,
really big shoes. Call it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Gorman retiring is. I mean, you saw it coming. Like you could see it coming from a mile away with the games.
I mean, Grandy's been in the role for a long time. Been good. Like he's a familiar voice. He's good.
I mean, they better give it to him. They better toss the rock over to Grandy.
If they don't give it to him.
Well, do you think he'd? If I'm great,
there's been like little like poke around that Grandy might not want to go to the TV side of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want to
like? He does like fighting sometimes. He does. He went and did the spring training for the Mets last year. Mm-hmm. Like he's poked around other avenues of play-by-play.
Do you? If you're Grandy, I don't listen to the radio much just because I'm always home watching the games.
No,
do you like? Do you say like, okay, only if you let me bring Max with me? I
don't think they like each other. About that?
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they like each other.
I had no idea.
So I listen to a ton of Toucher and Rich, and like they always kind of because they're on the station, so they have all the audio and stuff. Mm. And like there was one situation that I vividly remember where they were playing the Pelicans, I believe, and there was like Cajun food in the arena.
Yeah.
And Cedric Maxwell was not back when the show opened because he was getting food, and Grandy like dumped on him on air, and then Cedric was pissed. Like there was this whole weird back and forth. If you're in the comments, you know what I'm talking about. Let us know. But it was like he was like, "Oh, like what are you eating there, Max?" He's like got his mouth full.
Oh my god! I wonder if it's joking though. I can't imagine you work with somebody for that long and you dislike them like vehemently.
You tolerate them. I don't know, but they also could get on your. It goes one way or another. Like you work with someone enough, you just get like, them or whatever.
I understand. Yeah, we're approaching that point. Anyways, let's.
Yeah.
I just spin it on. All right, what do we got next?
Yeah, Sam, you're finished.
We have get ready to learn.
Pod, buddy.
Yeah, right.
To start a rival pod.
How about them Celtics hits 1K? We fucking we break up. We split up the subscribers.
We get too big for
we
each
do
other.
We do a subscriber draft. Did you get spatulas? All right, what do we got next? More Blake Griffin news. We briefly talked about Blake Griffin on the last podcast, but you had something from Chris Forsberg of NBC Sports Boston, another friend of the podcast, saying that Chris Forsberg believes that Griffin will re-sign with the Celtics sometime in September or closer to the end of training camp, as he told Brian Robb on the Winning Plays podcast. When Blake signs in September, Blake probably wants to wait until after training camp to sign. Yeah, it's a little choppy. I wasn't sure, but everything we're hearing sounds like the Celtics want to preserve roster flexibility with the 15th spot. Obviously, you have a few non-guaranteed deals as well. So there's this, that, and the other thing. And so they're waiting to bring Blake back if they do want to bring him back. I've said it, and I'll say it again. Ultimate vibes guy, would love to have Blake back in Boston.
He's an important piece, oddly enough. And again, when Blake Griffin has actually gotten minutes, he's been okay. He's not perfect. He's not an everyday player. He's not a starter. But last year, there were times when he actually had to step up and fill major minutes, and the Celtics did okay in those games for a while. He had some moments, made a bunch of threes against Philly on February 8th to help the Celtics beat them. That was a game where Embiid and Harden played, and then I think Tatum was the only starter, like regular starter, that played in the second half of that game because Jaylen broke his face that day. But
yeah,
Blake Griffin was a major role in that game. Again, he's good for the locker room. Well, maybe you'll get to see him do a super cool dunk.
Would be fun. Yeah. Sorry, I had to go on Instagram. I accidentally posted our reel today on my personal Instagram by accident, so I had to go switch it over. Disaster. But
wow,
yeah, I'd love
accounts. I got none. Did I tell you that like when I used to have Instagram?
Yeah.
And then like somebody just like took it over recently. No. Like there was one day I woke up to like 5 texts and they were like, dude, what happened to your Instagram account? I was like, what? And it's just some guy.
What is
he has,
it?
like
is
the
it
biggest
crypto?
neck you'll ever see.
Wait, really? Can I find it if I go on Instagram right now?
I'm gonna send you the screenshots.
All right, let me know.
Just continue on the pod for now.
Yeah, we get sidetracked. Instagram loophole. Yeah, but would love to have Blake Griffin back. Hopefully they can figure something out, but we'll have to see later in training camp. And I believe this is the last Celtics thing we have for the day. Actually, it's 2 more things. So during the Jaylen Brown press conference, obviously Joe Mazzulla was there, as was Brad Stevens. But Joe Mazzulla, topic came up, starting point guard for next season. And he revealed it was going to be Derrick White. Sam, are you shocked, or are you just, I mean, we knew this was coming, right?
Yeah, this is the biggest shock of all time. I'm surprised we didn't lead with this because this is just massive news. How could you have ever known that Derrick White would be the starting point guard this season after Marcus Smart is no longer on the team?
Well, some people I think genuinely wanted to see it be Brogdon, or they thought it would be Brogdon or could be Brogdon. Derrick White was arguably the 3rd best player on the team last year. Correct? Am I crazy for saying that?
Derrick White? No. Derrick White had some awesome moments he was very good in that Miami game 7. Like he was like the only like little pulse that they had in the 3rd quarter of that game. It was like, oh, maybe they'll come back. Obviously had the big moment in game 6 where he lays the ball in on the putback. There were plenty of moments where Derrick White was great, but I felt like he was actually best without the ball. Like when he was just spot up, catch and shoot, quick catch, make a move to the basket, drive. Like, and I think that's a role you're going to see him continue to play. And they're going to have Tatum sit on the ball a lot this year. I don't know.
I disagree.
Yeah.
And maybe this could be, you could file this under disagreeing for the sake of it's a podcast. Let's talk about it. But I really think Derrick White's best games last season were when he had to help initiate the offense or create the offense. Like you look at those Hawks games, it was one of the Jays doesn't have it or someone doesn't have it. Let me step up. Let me be a guy. You look at late in the season when Derrick White had that string of 10 assist games, it was, okay, he's the guy. Was Jaylen Brown out at that point? I think Jaylen Brown was hurt or somebody was out and he just had a string of like a few. I'm trying to find it.
He had a big game against Milwaukee when they played Milwaukee with all the fellas. He had like a 27-9 game.
Yeah, and he had 3 games in a row of 10 assists. And yep, it was Marcus Smart was out. It was Marcus Smart was out. it was the fellas game. So 3 games in a row, no Marcus Smart, no Jaylen Brown. Derrick White had 20 points, 10 assists. So like you've seen him in a role where he has to initiate the offense, and he is a good playmaker. And so I truly think the best version of Derrick White could come out this year. Because another thing we talk about, Sam, Derrick White, so much better as a starter than a bench player. Just so
Correct.
much infinitely better.
That is
and so
wholeheartly a fact. You can go on Basketball Reference, look at the splits. It jumps off the page. It's crazy.
Yes. And so seeing him earn that role and get that role, which again, we all knew he was going to get the job. Like let's not cut corners here as I stumble over my words. But I think you could see I'm not saying he's going to average 10 assists next season, but I wouldn't be shocked if Derrick White averages something like, is it crazy for me to say Derrick White's going to average like 14, 4, and 6 next year? Like, and I know that doesn't sound like all worldly numbers, but like those would all be jumps from this year. He averaged 12, 3.5, and 4 this year. I think he could average like 14, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 6.5 6 assists, good splits again. Like, I'm very excited for Derrick White. I'm a fan of Derrick White because obviously I wrote the whole article.
That's
on him,
your
but
guy.
I'm
that was
so
your guy
excited
beforehand. That was your guy from the start. Even when the
Mhm.
trade happened, you were pumped about it. So
I'm very amped. I'm writing another Derrick White article too, which is I think just on this topic.
Get him on the pod.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just writing about. I'm just gonna go look at the games that we just talked about, the assist games, and see how he is point guard. But no. But the other thing that came out while he was talking about Derrick White, I think Bobby Manning tweeted about this, and I'm gonna go find the tweet so I can relay the information here. Bobby Manning, who was at the press conference for Jaylen Brown, where Joe Mazzulla said all this, not a huge surprise, but Joe Mazzulla confirmed D. White will start at point guard. We just talked about that. He also said the organization has talked to Malcolm Brogdon, and they're taking small steps in the healing process towards integrating him back into the team after the near deal. And I wanted to spend time on this because, like, that's an eyebrow raiser of a quote that people aren't really talking about as much. Because, like,
well, we predicted that this might happen. Like,
yes.
Listen, we're not like whipping out the crystal ball. This does not take a rocket science to figure. Hey, they almost traded this guy and everybody knew he was getting traded and now he's not traded and he's still on the team. This might be a little awkward. Like, wow, that's a bold prediction, but it is true. That's what Bobby's take from us. That's what Bobby's take from the presser today tells us. It's true.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it suck that Smart's gone even more because not only did you lose Smart, but now Brogdon's annoyed.
Yes.
That's not great.
Ratless
as you try and compete from a championship.
Forever and always.
Not going to be the best. Yeah.
Not at all.
Clippers can rot, dude.
But like like we said, we knew someone was accept, but like taking small steps in the healing process towards reintegrating him back into the team. Is Brogdon like, does he want to be moved? We did a whole podcast talking about how like the Celtics are declining offers. Are they declining offers in an attempt to get Brogdon to want to stay? Are they declining offers because they know Brogdon will eventually be okay with this? Are they declining offers because they're not getting any good value and they're just like trying to bring it back up after the trade? Because we talked about that too. We talked about how his value might be down. I disagreed with you, but like hearing all this, you can make that connection. Like maybe teams are lowballing the Celtics now because they know they were okay with trading him in the first place. Obviously, it's a little bit different trading him for role players than an all-star caliber guy like Porzingis, but like that doesn't sound good. Reintegrating him into the team, huh?
I think.
Like,
I think when they're like, "Hey, you might win a championship," he'll be like, "Okay."
But still, like that quote just really sticks out to me. Like taking small steps in the healing process.
Well, that's true. That's a broken trust thing.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. Like
that's like having a girlfriend be like, "Hey, I think I want to break up." Oh, never mind. Then you're like, "What?
How do you?
Wait, what? You want to break up? Why? Why do you want to break up?" And then every day you're like, "Oh, is she going to break up with me? Is she going to break up with me today? Oh, we need to talk. Why?
How do you recover from it then?"
That's what I'm saying. It's tough. You don't. You break up. It just goes on for a long time.
So then what's up with the Celtics declining offers in your eyes? Is this them rebuffing value? Is this them like trying to keep him?
Maybe they're putting it out there. They're like, "Hey, look at us. We really don't want to trade him now." Or maybe it's the fact that if they trade Brogdon, then they only have Derrick White and Pritchard.
Well, Pitt and Pritchard.
But like they went from having a 3-headed monster at the point guard spot to 1 if Brogdon is traded away.
And Pritchard. No, your prediction, does this affect the Celtics plans, or like does this how badly does this affect the Celtics moving forward, or how much I should say, instead of putting a negative spin on it?
I think it has a really large window with how much it can affect the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a good chance that Brogdon fits back in with all of the stuff last year coming out about how much he really enjoyed being a part of the organization, stuck out to him, really felt like a winning place. All of that probably isn't gone. It probably makes the trade scare sting more, which isn't great.
Yeah.
But it means that he probably can be convinced that, okay, listen, there's no real reason for them to trade him anymore. It wouldn't make a ton of sense for them to do it unless it's truly broken and unfixable, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
But then there's also okay, if he's sour, how's it going to affect his play?
Exactly. Well,
Is he going to be
that was
bitter?
my thing. That was my thing last year. He already like kind of changed the way he's played. And again, he had an great season, 6th man of the year, whatever. But like he went from a high assist, always has the ball guy, to a spot up shooter who attacked when he had the opportunity, and it was fine. But he already changed his play that way. Is he more selfish now, even though you probably want him to be less selfish? Do you know what I'm saying? And again, this isn't an attack on Brogdon or saying it's his fault, but like you said, what now that he knows he could be like trade bait or whatever you want to call it.
I think the most if I'm the Celtics, here's my pitch.
Yeah,
You probably get honest with him. You're like, listen, yes, we try to trade you, but now we don't have room to trade you. Like, we can't afford to lose you. Maybe you don't say that because they can like just break your balls and like demand anything he wants.
yeah.
But like there is that element to it. Like it's like when you get anxious about something and you have to like you have that one thing that you just grasp onto that calms you down. It's like, dude, they can't trade Brogdon unless they get somebody back that's like equal, which they won't if they feel like they're forced to trade him. Then they just can't do it.
But is that what they're
They have
doing
to
right now?
keep him.
Is that the posturing now? Is that the declining trades thing, you think? Are they just posturing and then they're like figuring something else out?
I don't think they're trying to trade him anymore. It doesn't make sense.
I don't think they are trying to trade him, but is them playing hardball and all these things like because they're actually intending on keeping him, or because they know he's
Probably
done?
both.
Okay.
Because from a roster standpoint, it doesn't make sense to get rid of him.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. But
okay,
if
so
you were the Celtics,
that's component one to this. Is it like first and foremost from a pure basketball in a vacuum?
they should not
roster,
trade him.
Does not make sense.
100%.
The secondary part of that is trying to mend. Hey, listen, you should trust us again.
I agree, but my thing that I'm saying is I'm not saying this is what I think is happening, but there is a chance that he is out, like that he doesn't want to be on the team anymore, and all this is just posturing to get his value up. And I don't. Again,
if that was
I don't
the case,
think that
we
is
would
a
know.
thing. You think
Somebody would have put it out? I think
Okay.
it would be out.
Yeah.
It would have been an agent to one of these. I mean, look at Dame.
Yeah.
The circle jerk we've got with Dame.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. My other thing is, and I don't think this is as big a deal, but it was a significant story last summer when Malcolm Brogdon got traded here. Like off rip, like immediate less than 5-minute reactions. Oh, Brogdon's going to start. There's no way they can bring him off the bench, right? And then however many hours or whatever it was later, they were like, coming off the bench, going to be an elite 6-man. We talked to him. He accepted this role. I don't think Brogdon would think this way, but I don't count out that like him accepting that role is partially Marcus Smart's been here for 7 years, of course.
Correct.
Right? Fine. Derrick White's been here for 2 years. And from the outside, there are people who believe Malcolm Brogdon's a better player. I think Derrick White's a better player. Whatever. We can go back and forth. Do you think part of Brogdon's like, well, Smart's gone. Why aren't I the starter? Like, why? Like, I want to start. Like, and if I'm him, like, it would make sense. I get it, but like, do you think he's like, is he gonna be okay with that? Is he just gonna be like, all right, sure?
I think it's different if he's joining the team for the first time this year, but he just went through a whole season as a bench guy. Derrick White was still getting starts over him in the situation where Marcus was out. Marcus
I know, but
went
that's
out with an
because
ankle injury for a large chunk of the season. Like there was plenty of games where Marcus was not there and Brogdon still came off the bench, essentially in the situation that is the situation now, and it wasn't a problem.
I know what you're saying. Imagine Brogdon leverages that. He's like, all right, well, I'm mad at you, so you either start me or you trade me.
This is just not a situation I just think you shoot your way out of. It's not. It's a great chance to compete for an NBA championship. I don't think you're like breaking balls over this. Maybe you hold it over him down the road or something, but right now, like you're still in a really good position. On paper, Porzingis makes you like technically more of a contender. Like you're one of the betting odd favorites to win the NBA
Absolutely.
title. There's no reason to break balls right now. Everybody can kind of respect the task at hand, I think.
That's the other thing. You talk about down the line, like Celtics are pretty okay right now in terms of contracts. Jaylen was the big one. Derrick White's probably next up outside of Tatum, but like Tatum's not going to turn down that money, you have to assume. So like that's okay. But like when it gets down to it, are you re-signing both Brogdon and White? Like, are you doing this? And this isn't something you have to worry about for a little bit. I'm not saying that, but like that's a lot of money for two guys.
I'll say yes because I'm not spending the money.
I know. But like that's another thing you consider.
My viewpoint on all of this is are you legally allowed to bring them back? Yes. Okay, do
it. Fair. You don't have to spend the money. That's fair.
I would have told you to bring Grant back. I was like, bring him back. That's money you can't
bring Grant back.
You can't get anywhere else. Why not? Right?
I absolutely agree with you. All right. That can conclude our Celtics portion of the programming.
46 minutes.
We say this every time. We always scrounge together enough.
We actually had stuff to talk about today. We had a ton of
plenty of stuff. Shout out Jaylen. Shout out the contract. But let's get into the NBA section here. And the first thing is here. I'm going to let you lead this off with the Warriors because you put it on the show sheet. So I'll let you intro this. Please.
Yes. Okay. So Charles Barkley had a nice chat with the folks over at NBC Sports Bay Area, very similar to NBC Sports Boston, same sort of operation. Monte Poole is one of their senior NBA writers, is an insider with the Warriors. Talked to Chuck. Chuck says they hated Jordan Poole. They really hated Jordan Poole. That's the number one thing I said to myself. They really hated Jordan Poole. And then I replied in the show sheet, well, yeah, Draymond punched him in the fucking face and then went on the Pat Bev pod and essentially said that he deserved it. They went a whole season where nobody really came to Jordan Poole's aid, and he was continuously the scapegoat every time they had any kind of issue. The Warriors had a crazy season where they couldn't play on the road. Poole himself was very inconsistent, eventually imploded in the playoffs, was unplayable towards the end. And he really didn't have anybody sticking up for him or having his back, which isn't the most surprising thing ever when all of these guys have been playing together for 10 years. They've had a great amount of success together. I'm sure he did do something to deserve to get punched in the face. This is a little throwback. Poole on top of the punch in the face power rankings. He probably deserved it. I'm not surprised.
He's number one. He's number one.
Well, maybe not because he already got it, but he's still like looming.
Okay.
You know, like, yeah, you have to like spread the wealth a bit, but he's definitely like an honorable mention.
He's up there. Max Strus?
No, not Strus. Tyler Hero.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Tyler Hero. Oh man,
I'm making you think on the spot now.
I'm just trying. Lowry probably. Flipping through.
Harden.
I thought Harden, maybe.
Maybe.
Harden's like a different kind of rat, though. He doesn't like
Austin
give off
Reeves.
like annoying, like little shit vibes. He just gives off like I'm a spoiled brat vibes, which are kind of similar. But
are you
I
Austin
just
Reeves?
think they should send him to Siberia.
In or out on Austin Reeves?
Reeves is whatever.
Don't care.
Okay. I don't have like really any beef with him just yet. It could happen.
Fair.
Who else?
Totally fair. I don't know. That's what I was asking you. You're the I put you on the spot, and you're.
I feel like one of those guys on the Rockets should get it.
Jalen Green. That's
Jalen Green or Kevin Porter Jr.
Sure.
Kevin Porter Jr. By the way, he's got to be out soon, right? I wrote about this today for Fansided, the Rockets page. I feel like Kevin Porter Jr. is like the top guy that they're going to be moving on from. He's on an extension now. They just drafted a point guard. They brought in Van Vliet. Like they have Jalen Green, who I also think they could move on from if they really want to, and like try and land a bigger piece. I don't know. I truly don't think Kevin Porter has much of a future there.
I know what you're saying, and it makes sense. I got you, but yeah, no.
Paul also might be on the punch in the face power rankings. Actually,
fair. Rondo said yes. Correct. Yeah. He is. He's right on the rankings. Yeah. Barkley saying that they hated Jordan Poole. What a quote. That's truly phenomenal.
That's just his take, though. He has no like insight to that. But like, again, Yeah, Draymond punched him in the face and went on a national podcast and doubled down and said he deserved it.
Yes. Phenomenal. Wizards Warriors game 1 is going to hit. That's going to absolutely hit.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Like Poole being like a fake tough guy, like trying to jaw at Draymond, and then like people be like, "Well, yeah, like he knocked you out. Like, what are you gonna do to him?" I truly have no doubt in my mind that Poole was doing some rat shit, and
I believe
Draymond
you.
just
100%
his place.
Absolutely. All right, next thing, another thing you put on here. The Pelicans came out with new jerseys. Now, when you put this on here, I thought you meant like I just looked them up. I thought you meant like new jerseys, but they're just their city edition.
Set? No, these are like their stupid alternates that Nike's gonna shove down people's throats for.
Let's take a look here. It is Crescent City.
Correct.
And you're not a fan.
These look like G League jerseys. Tell me not.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't actually hate them.
G League stuff.
I don't hate them.
I hate to say it to New Orleans, but that's like borderline a G League market. So it's almost like it is a G League team.
Did you see it from this tweet, or did this?
I saw it on Bleacher Report.
This G League tweet.
What is this? Hold on. I need to pull it up full screen. I can't read.
Someone said this is the G League jersey on Twitter.
No,
I didn't know. Oh yeah. Well, then you're thinking the same.
No, I don't steal jokes. Come on.
I wasn't sure.
And if I do, I give credit.
Fair.
It's frowned.
Yeah.
Those jerseys are terrible.
Yeah,
because they already have jerseys that look like that, but they're just like not surrounding the number with the text. Like, look at this, and they have Alvarado modeled the jersey. Look! It's right there. It's on the screen. The red jersey.
They are the same. Yeah, there's no creativity here. I see what you're saying. They're bad. You've conformed me. They're terrible.
And all the people on Twitter, I saw like a tweet where like they brought up all these great New Orleans jerseys that there've been in the past. And there's so many fun things you could do with New Orleans that like Mardi Gras, the Mardi Gras colors rule.
Question.
Like, just do that every year.
Windy Fingers. If they put gumbo on a shirt, would Zion play?
No. He'd just be staring at the jersey.
Would he eat the shirt?
Yeah, he'd eat the jersey.
He'd do Steph. He's like, everyone thinks, he's channeling Steph Curry. He's really just trying to eat the shirt.
Yeah, he's just trying. He's like, oh man, like you know, like when you wring a shirt out, like he's hoping it's gumbo.
He's like, so do I sweat gumbo if I wear this one? Do I? Oh man, sorry, Zion. Anyways, next thing we have Bradley Beal talked about the Suns trade today. Was it his Suns presser?
I'm not sure. I was not aware of this.
But they were asking him like about the trade, and he goes, I was like, are they trading Book? Like, there's no way this is happening. This can't be. Like, all right, this isn't right.
Hold on.
We take it apart.
Did he really think the Phoenix Suns were going to give up Devin Booker for him?
I think I don't know. I don't know if he was confused because he's like realistically, that's a crazy value trade for Bradley Beal. Like
no, it is. They got him for free.
Take the contract away. Like, Bradley Beal's a phenomenal player, so I understand it. But like, I was like, why are they trading Book? Like, he genuinely thought they were trading Devin Booker. And then he goes, but fast forward, he's here, I'm here, Kevin's here, and DA is here. It's surreal and crazy to think about how the deal even came to fruition, but it's done. I'm in an awesome situation where I can compete every single night for a chance to win. And yeah, I mean, good for Bradley Beal. Just the quote of "Why are they trading Book?" That's an all-timer. That's phenomenal. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bradley Beal, top 10 shooting guard in the NBA, maybe top 5. Book is like the best shooting guard in the league, or one of them. Like, what are we doing, Brad? I just think that was an all-time quote.
Well, that's how you get to the NBA, though. You have that kind of mindset that you're just as good as everybody.
Good for him.
But these guys, their whole career, they've been the best guy on the floor, except for probably the last X amount of years when they've been in the league.
Yes, definitely. But speaking of all-time quotes,
it's been a long time that he's been in the league, so he should be used to it by now. But it's neither here nor there.
Yes. Speaking of all-time quotes, our man Dillon Brooks. We have new updates on the Dillon Brooks-Grizzly drama, and I thought I don't know if you've seen this, and I hope you haven't. So I can be the first.
I have not. This is going to be a genuine.
Let me read through this, and Sam can give his reactions to those of you on YouTube, which go on over to YouTube, subscribe to Bout Them Celtics. Join 1,000+. Still crazy. But
yeah, SeatGeek, HBTC.
This comes from Tim McMahon of ESPN. He was on the Low Post podcast with Zach Lowe. I think the reasons that the Grizzlies were ready to move on from him are misunderstood. Talking about Brooks, he said the nonsense was kind of a point where culturally it was time. There was no primary reason. The primary reason the Grizzlies were trying to replace Dillon Brooks for a full 2 years, repeatedly going after players who would have replaced him in the trade market, and he probably wouldn't have been sent out, was because of the shot selection. Dillon did not want to be a fourth or a fifth offensive weapon.
This is like another one of those. Yeah, this is how NBA players think, because this is how they got there, by being one of the best guys on the floor every single day.
Yeah.
So you have to have that mentality, and you have to imagine all of these guys are good. Like if you saw them in an open gym, they would be making almost every single shot.
Absolutely.
Like I think about this from time to time. If you're playing basketball and you're like, I don't know if I should shoot this, like they don't have that. If there's nobody in front of them, they should be shooting the ball. It's facts. There's very few guys. Maybe Ben Simmons doesn't want to shoot the ball. But besides that, you don't really get that in the NBA. But this is a bit different than that, because he wants to be a primary focus of the offense, which I don't know how,
well, maybe he gets that chance in Houston.
He could.
Might as well.
Houston was one of my favorite teams coming into the offseason, because I thought there was so many fun things they could do. And then they blew $60 million a season on Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks.
And another $20 million on Jock Landale and Jeff Green.
But isn't there some penalty if teams don't spend like their full, a minimum amount of money?
If you don't spend the minimum, there's a use it or lose it, or there's like whatever, like you'll get penalized. That's what happened. Remember Miles Turner last year? The Pacers signed him to Miles Turner to like a 2-year, $60 million deal last year, whatever. But he got paid, like they just added $17 million to his salary last year, right? Or whatever, because they had cap space they needed to use. And then they just extended him for 2 years with like $20 million each season. You know what I'm saying? So there was something where he just got, it was front loaded extra for that season. And then
no wonder
they used it, but right. And then this was combined in the Bleacher Report article I pulled this from. This was combined with a point from Shams of the Athletic, Shams Charania. Brooks' first round series against the Los Angeles Lakers was considered to be a breaking point. In the span of the Grizzlies series loss in 6 games, he called LeBron James, the Lakers' best player and a 4-time champ, old, tired, and suggested he was not as good as he used to be. Brooks punched James in the groin area in Game 3, earning an ejection. He missed the defensive word. He missed the defensive assignment to help on James on the game-tying basket in Game 4, and then he gave up a critical basket to James in overtime of that loss. Brooks also chose not to speak to the media after 3 of the losses in the series, resulting in a $25,000 fine by the NBA. So, that really outlines it. And do you know what's even crazier? Like, as much as the Lakers were a good team, and some people picked them, like, the Grizzlies should have won that series. The Grizzlies have been a good team. I know, but, I still.
What do you mean? Their best player got hurt.
But they've been good without Ja. They have.
Yeah, they've been good without Ja, but not in a playoff setting.
I guess.
Playoffs are different. Like, there's game planning.
I forgot about the injury. I forgot about
manipulation of the defense, where you can just force, Dillon Brooks to have to take a bunch of shots. Like, there are things you can do in a playoff series to just exploit the absence of a star player.
If he wants to be that part of the offense, then,
Look at Game 7 for the Celtics against Miami. Tatum hurts himself, and that was it.
This is true. All right, we can move on to the rat list. The
Celtics are deep, and
this is true.
So is Memphis.
This is true. All right, let's get the rat list going. Let's do it. Bring out Matt the Rat. Would you like to kick us off today, Sam?
Yeah, I'll go first. Rat list, my job. Here's why.
Oh no.
So no, it's not that bad. Today we have returned to the office for the first time in months, because they were doing construction. So they had like a welcome back lunch, and they brought in as much food as they could to try and make us all fat. They had like a dozen full-size pizzas, a bunch of gigantic crumble cookies, and I have no self-control. So I was just going in, enjoying all of it. And I'm just disappointed in myself today. It rivals the performance I put on in the pregame stream that day when I ate all the donuts.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm in this far. I might as well just keep eating.
I will counter your rat list with a rat list of you because I don't have the same desire to eat healthy as Sam does. So whenever he comes on here and says, "Oh yeah, I ate like shit today. I had like some pizza," I'm just sitting here like, all right, well, just go fuck myself.
Dude, I don't eat pizza anymore. I really don't.
Yeah, this is
Because
what
I just
I'm
don't
saying.
like because like I don't know. I'm not gonna get into
And
it because
this isn't even a podcast thing. Like Sam and I will just like talk, whatever. And
Yeah.
he'll just be like, "Oh, I like shit today," and I'm like, "Sam, I ate that in like 2 hours, like every day."
Well, I used to do that stuff all the time.
I know.
Back in my prime, they would
I
get
remember.
Frank Pepe's pizza at the news station, and I would slam back 10 pieces of a Frank Pepe's pizza. When I was at home during COVID, I was slamming back a full Frank Pepe's pizza, like a medium to large Frank Pepe's. Those are big pizzas.
Frank Pepe is good. Never heard. I don't even know what Frank Pepe's is. I assume it's a local joint. Frank Pepe's.
Where we got today, or
Frank Pepe's. Frank
Pepe's is a chain, but it's like originally in New Haven, and they're
okay.
They're people will know in the comments. Like if you know,
I've
Frank
never
Pepe's,
had.
say you know Frank
Is it good?
It's fire. It's great pizza.
Okay, need to have. Have you had Town Spa? Town
No.
Spa fire. I know
It's
one
like
of your
near you.
friends. I know. Well, so Frank Pepe's is near you. What are we talking about?
Frank
here?
Pepe's is a chain.
I can't. There is no Frank Pepe's near me. I'll tell you. Let's see.
Frank Pepe's at Mohegan. I think there's one at Foxwoods. I know there's one near me. There's sprinkled all over the place.
I guess there is one close. There's one in Brookline, but there's none like local enough where I knew it existed.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Calm down there.
But I used to slam back pints of Ben and Jerry's like multiple times a week.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
They had those the mini pints of Ben and Jerry's. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh no. You got to do the full pint.
No, well, yes, if that's the option. But they had those in my they called it the C store. Excuse me. It was just like the convenience store in my dorm in college. And so I just walk down the stairs, grab one, and go back up.
You know, they really don't set you up for success in college, now, do they? My girlfriend was telling me because she lived on campus when she was in school, and I never lived in a dorm. I like went to community college for 2 years. It ruled. It was free. And then I went to URI for a semester. And I took the bus every day because I didn't want to pay for parking. And then COVID came along, and I went on spring break and never went back to school. But anyways, she's like saying like they have like this buffet, and you have like a waffle buffet. You can put like chocolate syrup on it, and like they really just try and like make you feel like fat or get fat.
Well,
like not
Worcester State did help it out a little bit because their cafeteria was hot garbage. It was horrendous. There was a whole Instagram page called like the Pod, which is what they called, like the cafeteria. It's called the Pod, and it's just like John listens. If John Smyers is listening to this, shout out, long time listener. I know maybe you're not listening to this, but he goes to WSU. The Pod is terrible. They had a whole video. There's like, so they found some with bugs. They found some. It's bad. It's not good. But the C store.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll finish two things. C store was fire because not only do they have the snacks, they had like a little oven so they can make you grilled cheese, like chicken parm sub. Very good. I wasn't a big fan. I am very picky. Like I didn't like pizza when I was a kid because the one pizza place we got it from was like I didn't like the marinara sauce or some shit. So I would just get chicken parm with like chicken and cheese. I would just say no marinara sauce, but it was fire. And then they had a place called, it was just like the cafe, like a student center, right? They had like a cafe in there where they made stuff. The chicken sandwiches were so good. I went there so often every day because I was a fucking loser and I did nothing outside of, I went to class, I got my food, I went back to my dorm, and then I went to work. And that was my day for most of my junior year, just because like I was just working, and my work was like I did the scorebook at basketball games, so like it was fun. It was fun. But
chicken sandwich might be the greatest food of all time.
It's up there, and it had like lettuce, tomato, whole thing. I got that. I got a brisk lemonade or something, was whatever. But I went there so often that I was friends with the guy who made the chicken sandwiches. Like he learned my name. He knew it. I'd walk up. He goes,
"That's how I am at the coffee shop."
Yep.
So they don't know my name; they just know my order.
Yeah, he'd walk up, he'd see me. He's like, "Chicken sandwich today?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." And eventually I just introduced myself. And I think I told him. He was like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "I actually have a podcast." So maybe he's listening to this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just thinking back to like tremendous food feats that I used to like do regularly. Mm-hmm. When I was working at the nursing home, it was the best because I was in the kitchen. So we would have like just like the racks of dessert or, you know, all the snacks stocked up in the room. Oh, the Red Sox won again. All the snacks stocked up like in the back room or whatever. So back in my prime, when they made cookies, I would take 10 chocolate chip cookies I would put the chocolate chip cookies in a cereal bowl, and then I would fill it with milk and eat it like cereal. I would do ice cream sundaes where I'd take 4 like Hood cups of ice cream, put it in a bowl. I would put graham crackers, marshmallows, chocolate chips. I would warm up hot fudge. Like I was a freak when I was at the nursing home with what I was eating.
It sounds,
and I was like running half as much as I run now. And I was like, no, I'm good.
It sounds phenomenal. My go-to glutton order that I order a lot now, the ultimate smokehouse combo at Chili's, dude.
We talked about this before.
I know we did. It's so good.
Smoky Bones, like they have like the most diesel thing. I've never ordered it, but I've seen it on the menu when I go to Smoky Bones. They have like this thing, and it's like, yeah, it serves 4. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I could eat that.
Yeah, no, smokehouse combo. It comes with. I get bacon cheese, like the Texas fries, phenomenal. I get Mexican street corn, which is like corn with like a bunch of shit on it, very good. I get half rack of ribs it comes with, and you get 3 entrees and 2 sides with this. Keep in mind,
it's baller.
It's a haul. I get the half rack of ribs. I get some sort of quesadilla, either the briskets or the chicken bacon, and then it comes with chicken crispers, which is like honey chipotle, and you get ranch.
Chicken fingers. Yeah.
But it's like honey chipotle sauce and like ranch. Ugh, I house that shit, dude. So good. I'm such a piece of shit. I feel like a piece of shit when I eat that.
Back in my prime, I would go and play 2K with my boy Greg until like 2 a.m.
Shout out Greg. I played with y'all.
And then Greg would be like, you want to go get McDonald's?
Oh,
so we'd go get McDonald's, and I would get a quarter pounder, a double quarter pounder. I would get a large fry. I would get a 20-piece nugget. That would be my 2 a.m. McDonald's. And like, I don't like smoke or anything. Like literally that was like, I didn't have like munchies. I was like, I'm down, dude. Like I'll just eat.
Hot take. Wendy's better than McDonald's.
Wendy's chicken sandwich slaps. So does McDonald's. McDonald's has an
McDonald's is good. It is good. Are you talking about? Okay, I wasn't sure if you're talking
like
about
the new one.
Yeah,
hot take. The McDonald's McCrispy is second to the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Chick-fil-A is hot.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A is up. Popeyes chicken sandwich.
I don't care
very
for
good.
it as much. It's fine.
I enjoy. KFC in the toilet though. KFC's is terrible. I'm sorry.
KFC's wash, dude. Near me, they have the KFC in the worst possible like place. It's like right next to a light that's always busy.
The issue with KFC, and I like the KFC popcorn chicken. If I'm going to a KFC, I'm just gonna get fucking Taco Bell because it's better and they're attached. It's the same thing.
They're not always attached. The one near me is not attached.
Okay, most are attached. But anyway, sorry.
And there's multiple Taco Bells near me that are not attached.
Okay. All right.
Rat list you. You didn't edit me saying I recorded a podcast at work out of the last episode.
Yes. Can I leave? Am I allowed to leave this one in the show? Is this
leave it in?
Okay. Yeah, that's on me. Well, I
and then I texted you about it, and then you were still unaware for 12 hours.
You sent me a bunch of texts. I didn't see the first one.
You don't read all the texts?
No, apparently, clearly not. Yeah. Behind the curtain, the reason I didn't edit out because Sam gave me like 3 other things.
Yeah, we honestly, if Jack didn't edit the pod yesterday, it would have been fire. Like,
oh my god,
Jack wouldn't have been able to sleep, like worrying about it. But there were some fire topics on there that you whatever.
Disaster. Ratless the dentist. I do the dentist today.
Oh. Good one. Good rat list. Like, I know 3 people that went to the dentist today. You went to the dentist, my dad went to the dentist, and my girlfriend went to the dentist.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys all had a dentist on the same day.
What time?
My dad went in the morning. She went in the afternoon.
I went 2:45.
Yeah, you were about the same time as she was.
But
did they find anything? You healthy? They tell you to floss? Did they say you have gingivitis?
I have to get 2 fillings.
Oh,
they're small fillings, just like the white, not like silver, just the white ones. But I'm pissed. I've never had a cavity. This is the first time I've ever had to get fillings. I'm so mad, and I floss too. Like you see me.
Yeah, nobody screws around with these like little floss things more than Jack. It's like
I don't have it. I don't have it on camera because like it's gross. But like I have these and. You'd think, oh, you got a bag of those? No, I have bags on bags on bags of these because I ordered 3 of them off Amazon, not realizing that each singular quantity they sell is a pack of 3. So I had 9 of these show up to my door, and I just pick on them. And so these are all over my desk. Yeah, but the reason is because I have like, when I chew on straws and shit. I was chewing on one before we started recording today, and I would be like, I'd be that guy who always chewed on his like sweatshirt strings and stuff. And so trying to kick that habit, I just have these now, like dental floss. So you'd think after using these, my teeth would improve. Nope. First cavity ever, ratless.
Yeah, dude, the worst is when like they try and tell you have the made up thing, gingivitis, which I'm pretty sure they just like say, like, I always say like being a dental hygienist would be the best job on the planet because you could just like have a terrible morning and then just go into work and take your day out on the patient and be like, yeah, it's your fault, you don't floss. You have
gaslighters. Biggest gaslighters.
Yeah, they like stab you and they're like, you're bleeding. You know why you're bleeding is because you don't take care of yourself, not because I stabbed you.
The lady today, she was very nice, no complaints, but she goes, yeah, there's a little bleeding, and I really want to say, hey, it's almost like you're stabbing me in the mouth. I wonder why I'm bleeding.
Like if I stab Jack in the stomach and he starts bleeding, I'm not like, oh, Jack, you should probably do more crunches.
I'm like, what are we doing? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a water pick, and she's taking it. She's like, jabbing it up. I'm like, please. I'm like fighting back tears. I wore my Crocs too, and this lady was like,
did you get blood on them?
No, but like these are the Crocs I wear for those. So they're like, there's a lot. And I go and she goes, you got a little fashion down there, right? I'm like, yep, I've got Crocs, don't worry. And but she's because it wasn't like somebody our age or whatever. Like it was somebody who clearly, she was like, I have a couple pairs. I have the one with the lining in the middle for the winter. And I was like, hell yeah, you gotta have red
diesel Crocs.
Yeah, I have those too, but oh man, yeah, ratless the dentist. Dentist is terrible. It wasn't as bad as I thought today. I was pissed to have to get fillings though. Just awful. Also, another ratless thing about the dentist.
Halloween.
Another ratless thing about the dentist. They're like, so you want to schedule your appointment? I have something in January. I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm gonna be doing in January, but sure.
Yeah, you actually like schedule the appointment and then they text you like a week before, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and the worst part is if you go to reschedule, they're like, can't squeeze you in for 4 more months. What are you doing? Like, what are we doing here?
Well, the best is the doctor. Like, if you go to the doctor, well, you know, like I've been injured like on and off like this whole year. Like I've gotten better. Like I feel fine now. But there was a time like I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on with me. And I called them and I was like, hey, can I like schedule an appointment? Like my leg hurts. They're like, we can see you in 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks?
Leg hurts now.
Yeah, like my leg hurts now, buddy. Like, yeah, I can rest for 2 weeks and probably make it feel better, but I don't wanna.
I mean, hand up my bad. I don't know if we talked about this in here. I haven't been to the doctor in so long. It's so bad.
Dude, I went for the first time since COVID because I hurt myself. Yeah, that was the first time I'd been.
I don't even have a primary care physician right now. Because like the last time I went was pre-COVID when it was my my pediatrician, and I'm not going back. I'm not going back to see that dude now, right? Like, so I just don't have a doctor. I haven't been since
who needs him?
What is that, like
2019? Probably.
Yeah, almost 4
yeah, I've never met Jack. I didn't know Jack when he was going to the doctor. I've only known doctorless Jack.
This is true. This is true. Last time I went to the doctors, I was exactly 6 feet tall, and that was a big milestone for me. Because if you know me,
you want to know what an anti-rat list is LinkedIn, and not specifically LinkedIn.
Okay,
but the stupid. I've talked about this before. The stupid generic responses that LinkedIn offers you when you like see somebody's post. My buddy, he had like a 1 year work anniversary. One of the things was time flies, and he replies to me, "It certainly does." Like things that nobody says to. These are things you say to people that you actually like have nothing to say to, that you don't know very well.
I mean, the worst part about LinkedIn is I just wanted to update my profile, but every time you update your profile, it posts something for you.
It's like, hey, everybody.
My favorite thing. Hold up, I gotta share my favorite LinkedIn story. Excuse me. Also, yeah, my dad. I have 2 messages from my dad on LinkedIn. Congrats on the new role. Congrats on your new job. And they're both like obviously like the responses. And I really
he just hit the button. Your own dad couldn't take the time to type you out a message because LinkedIn gave him the shitty, stupid, generic ones.
My thing is, I tell my dad when I get a new job, so I'm like, Dad, you already knew this was happening. Like, why? Like, we've already talked about this.
He probably gets a kick out of it. That's what I do. I've messaged you on LinkedIn before and been congrats. Let's see. I have you on my thing. Congrats on your work anniversary, November 7th.
but the best LinkedIn message I've ever gotten. I got a message. I don't know how this works. And it's from my 80-year-old grandma. She just messages me on LinkedIn, like DMs me. I don't know how this works. This was January 2022. And her bio is retired at North or elementary school, whatever. And
Hell's she on LinkedIn for? It's for people looking for jobs. The best thing about hold on, say the message before I cut you off.
This is our conversation. I don't know how this works. I said, I don't use LinkedIn much either. I just post my podcast and apply for jobs. She goes, I'll watch for a podcast, not in the job market. I'm like, no shit, man. You're not in the job market. And then she goes, she messages me. That was January 28th. February 15th, a whole month later, she hits me with LOL. Like she's responding to my message. And then 2 months later, she hits me with a congrats on your work anniversary. I'm like, Nana, text me. I have your number. Like, what are we doing here? And the opener of I don't know how this works is just all time.
Well, LinkedIn is great for that reason you said, where it just tells everybody all your business. And I have a friend that like is looking for a job.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to update his LinkedIn because the company he works at pays attention to LinkedIn. So he can't like spruce up his LinkedIn to look for a job because he doesn't want to get like laid off. Like they'll just be like, oh, you want to leave? See ya. Bye. And he obviously doesn't want to jump ship without a lifeboat.
I'm crying.
Speaking of online shitty conversations, any good exchanges on the apps, sir?
On the oh man, is this gonna become like a Podly thing, like Jack's apps?
Well, the best, what do you do for work? Nobody would ask me. No man asks me what I do for work or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want my man knowing what I do for work. I was like, okay. Let me see. I don't think so. Nothing crazy lately. Going through a lot of my best thing is on Bumble. You'll just get the message, hey, and then you start the conversation, and then there's no reply. Like, why are you starting the message? Because like obviously the girl starts the conversation on Bumble.
Yeah.
Just unmatch me. Like if you're just gonna say hey, and then I'm gonna start first.
There's going to be a day where somebody says hey to you, and you're gonna snap. You're gonna be like, if I messaged you first and said hey, would you respond to me? No. Why would
That's not even the thing. Like. The whole point is you're supposed to start the conversation. I had a message today that's like it was like a prompt thing where like they'll give their answer, but they won't show you the answer until you give your answer. It was like it was fun. It was fun. It was like whatever. But it's the hey, and then I say hi, how are you? Like actually trying to initiate a conversation, and then nothing, and then ghost. I'm like, what? Like why? For what? For what reason are we even doing this? That's my biggest thing lately. That's my most annoying thing. I have had. My Hinge profile is fire though because I have that I like a specific Taylor Swift song, like a niche one. That's my favorite song. Eat it up. People love it. People love it. And
see, but you're attracting the wrong people.
Potentially. But I'm not putting it there for that reason. I'm putting it there because I enjoy the song. And I have another one.
But like you're attracting the crazies.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
I've actually had a couple people comment because do you know who Noah Khan is? He's an artist.
No.
He's like my favorite artist right now. I enjoy his songs, but I have something on there. It's like, obviously people who listen to the podcast know I sang in high school. And so like, it's like something like the prompt is kind of cringe. It's like, what's your cry in the car song? And I put the song that I enjoy singing the most because it's like technically a sad song and I'll put it on there. And I've had like 3 people like, oh, this is sick. But I'm like, that's why my point is I like Hinge because it gives people something to start a conversation
Hinge is the best
with.
one. Hinge
phenomenal.
Rules. That's where I met Caitlin.
Meanwhile, Tinder is like, hey, I'm like, when I get a message, like, and
Bumble's
sometimes
the worst of the 3.
I've had like a little spike in Bumble lately, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, man, I don't know. Hinge is definitely the GOAT of all the apps, but easily.
Yes. W app. Hinge, good on them. Anti-rat list.
All right, I don't think I have any more rat lists today. I think that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, we gave you a good 20 minutes.
That was kind of like that might have been the best rat list we've done in a minute.
Dude, we were ready before the show. We were like, we just want to talk, man.
I know. we gave you a whole hour just to get to the rat list for us.
Yeah.
All right, though we can end there. No more rat list. I'll put the Celtics back on the screen for all those listening. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers. I know it's been a couple pods. That's still nuts to me that we hit 1,000.
Do we have news we'd like to share or no?
Do we? If you have news, what news?
What news?
I think we wait. I think we wait till it's officially official. You know what I'm saying? No, we can leave this in.
Okay.
That's Sam's cut clap. We do have news coming. This can be our teaser.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We do have
You made it this far. It's probably not that many of you. So
I forgot about this. Yeah, we do have news.
Yeah, you forgot about it. Yeah.
We do have news coming that we will get into very soon. I want to wait till it's like officially official. We can start
All right.
doing, you know what I'm saying? But thank y'all for listening. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Join. I had the number here. 1,065 others. We hit 1,000 like 3 days ago, and we're already like 65 past that, which is crazy. I just like that when you look at the channel, it says 1.06K, and it has like the little K instead of the just one subscribers. But thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Leave us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify, and leave a comment on YouTube. I read the comments every day, and I don't delete any of them. Sam, wrap it up.
Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube page. Like Jack said, make sure you join over 1,000 others. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell just in case any news breaks, like Jaylen signing a contract while I'm in the middle of a work day. And we will pump out a new video, so you don't want to miss it. You can follow us on the streaming services as well. Apple, Spotify, we're there. Leave us a nice 5-star review. Say some nice things. If I could speak. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok,
Also,
at How About Them C's.
Sorry to cut you off. We forgot to talk about this in the NBA section. Shout out Bronny James. That shit's terrifying.
Oh, it is crazy.
Hopefully he recovers. I saw that on Twitter when I was scrolling as you were outering. But that's I can't
crazy
imagine.
Story.
Hopefully he's better. Shout out Bronny James. Sorry.
Anytime the hard stuff happens on the court, it's never good.
That's what I'm saying, man. Shout out.
Facebook is just the name of the pod. You can like us there. You'll get live streams when we do them, usually before every game or pre-game live. I'm sure we'll do something before the summer ends. Maybe not. Who knows? We haven't really had a reason. Well, that's not true. We did 2 streams. We did the draft and free agency. And the draft was terrible. You can follow Jack at JackSmonNBA on Twitter. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. It's it for us.
Tic-taco. Come on. Taco.